Extremely large quantities of money are flowing into XRP on an institutional level, and this is happening at the very same time that XRP, in massive numbers, is flowing off of cryptocurrency exchanges. And I'm telling you, the cryptocurrency exchanges, the reserves of XRP, absolutely plummeting massively in record-breaking fashion, and that's a good thing. I'll explain why. And that's the bulk of what I really want to focus on in this video. So, this video, I'm going to try to keep it kind of short, just to keep it on point, and then I'm going to wrap up the video by highlighting a very cool milestone that we're likely to hit. But folks, I just got to tell you this at the onset. If you're not bullish about XRP right now, if you're questioning whether or not you're making the right decision, this might impact what you think in a very good way. I'll just say that at the outset of this video. I can't imagine not being wildly bullish on the market right now, and in particular, XRP. So yes, the crypto market and the asset class moves in tandem, so that's important. But when this thing goes, my God, I can't imagine there being an alt season and then XRP is not a part of that because reasons. Yeah, no, it's going to go. If we're going to have an alt season, which is what caps off every single market cycle in history, you better believe XRP is going to be a part of that if history is to rhyme with itself. Or do you want to say, this time is different? Famous last words, my friends. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say, right? I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right. Now, what's on your screen right now, I actually did share in a recent video, but I'm going to be quick with it as a result. But I want to make sure that you're aware of this. I want you to know what is happening right now, because this is happening at a time where XRP is just absolutely flowing off of cryptocurrency exchanges in record fashion. And I'm going to show you that in just a second here, but this is the Digital Asset Fund Flows Weekly Report from CoinShares, written by James Butterfield. What a fun last name. And this is data, let's see, as of close of October 24th, so this is updated weekly, of course, and this is the most recent we have, so it's the 7 days leading up to October 24th, and this is money flowing into and out of various assets on an institutional level, and this is interesting because a lot of times you'll see that on an institutional level. The purchasing pattern can be rather different from the typical lemming retail speculator, which makes highly emotional investment decisions. They will FOMO into assets and they will panic sell assets as the market goes down. That's just how they behave. Now, I'm not saying that you won't find irregular individuals on an institutional level. They can be with various firms that do that. But it's not just that it can be for larger clients. There's a lot of accredited investors, so on and so forth, businesses. And so you do see that when you're talking about the institutional flows, the purchasing behavior is different. This effectively is the smart money, right? And so at a time when people are fearful, and recently, prices hadn't been looking so hot for various coins, including XRP, the market's taken a bit of a dive. You can see for this week, XRP did pretty damn well. So for Bitcoin, massive flows. Happy to see it because Bitcoin does lead the market. $931 million for the week, Ethereum down $168 million for that same time period. And again, this is all institutional flows. And then there's XRP with positive net inflows. Look at this, $84. $3 million on an institutional invested into XRP for that 7-day period ending October 24th. So that's what the smart money is doing. And again, you can see the fear out there. If you're on social media, I don't even need to tell you, you don't even need to see it. You can just look at it and kind of get a feel for it. Because it's just all over the place. But what's actually happening here? What is actually, well, it turns out that the whales certainly, it's probably mostly whales anyway. There are some smaller investors that are a bit more reasonable and don't make emotional investments. Maybe you're one of those people. I consider myself to be one of those people. But just look at this data. This is data showing XRP on Binance flowing out like crazy. And so this is from an XRP community member named XR Parther. And he wrote, XRP exchange reserves on Binance. And of course, I'll note Binance is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by volume, so this is the big one here. And he wrote, reserves just dropped to 2.74 billion XRP, one of the lowest levels in over a year. People are taking their XRP off exchanges to hold it. Smart money accumulates quietly. The next liquidity shock might not be on the chart yet. Yeah, and that's right. That is normally what this means. And he pulled this data from CryptoQuant. And look at this. Look at this massive slide in XRP on a Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by volume. It's a dramatic drop, and that's a good thing. Because when people want to sell XRP, they will take their XRP out of cold storage, transfer it to the exchange, so then you'll see an increase to the exchange. But in this case, it's a massive flop. Because if there are a bunch of people intending to sell, well, they sure as hell wouldn't be taking their XRP off the exchange. That would be inconvenient. If they're about to sell, that's not how they're going to behave. They'll just sell it soon. And it would stay on the exchange, but here they're taking it off. And this is normal behavior. Like, you can look back to November when XRP started rocketing here. I mean, look at this, November 2024. You can see that as it really started going here. Look at that. It's like a straight line up just about here. And so there are a bunch of people that have been holding XRP for years. As we got into the beginning part of December, because it was December 2nd, XRP peaked at 290. As it got rocketed and priced out quickly, because mind you, it went from 49 cents after the election, or well, before the election, XRP was 49 cents, 2 weeks later, $2. 90 on December 2nd. You can see that there are people that were ready to take some profit. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I've not sold a single XRP in my entire life. That's too low of a price for me. But, I never begrudge anybody for taking profit. Of course not. If that's what makes sense for you, of course you do whatever you want to do. I'm not telling you what to do. And so a lot of people did transfer their XRP to exchange. That's what that shows. And then there was more selling pressure, but there was enough demand that all that XRP flowing to the exchange, initially, it wasn't making sense that the XRP price couldn't go higher until eventually, it did find a local high. And then you can see what happened, obviously. A bunch of people, so we hit the peak, the price went down, and then there were still people that purchased as there was a price dip, and then that XRP went off exchanges. And then it went back up as XRP in January. You can see it rocketed in price and hit that all-time high for the first time since 2018 of 340, and then it runs in repeat. So what I'm telling you is when you see these huge drops right here, this is what precedes massive moves to the upside. Historically speaking, that would be what's normal. It doesn't mean it's today, tomorrow, next week, doesn't have to be next month. And this is what precedes it. Metrics find bottoms, markets find bottoms in general. And here, if you're just looking at this metric, you're close to a historic low. You're pretty close. And take a look at this article from Cointelegraph. They corroborate it. I'm not going to read the whole article, but this one was titled, How Much Can Price of XRP Increase During November? And they do cite that XRP is looking like it could have a double-digit rally in November percentage-wise. And so happy to see that would put XRP pretty damn close to its all-time high. But that's not the reason I'm highlighting the article. I'm highlighting it because of this subsection right here. XRP witnesses record exchange outflows. On October 19th and 20th, XRP's exchange net position change fell by 78 million. Its deepest negative levels on record, according to Glassnode. And again, I don't need to read the whole article. I just want to make the broader point here. Let me go down here. It's exactly what it's telling you. Look at this. Such outflows typically indicate strong accumulation by large holders, moving tokens to cold storage, reducing immediate sell-side pressure. Absolutely spot on. And so let me make this a little bit larger for you. That's the chart that Cointelegraph shared. And so look at this. You see this red right here? This is the biggest move in such a short period of time in history. In history, you can see this chart's going back to like 2015. Look at that. That's incredible. That just happened right now. Biggest in history. Yes, XRP reserves absolutely plummeting. And again, that's a positive thing because that means people, and it is mostly large holders. Like I told you, that is what that indicates. It's very large holders which behave different than the typical living retail speculator. They're taking their XRP off exchange because they believe it's going to be worth way more in the future. That's why they're doing this. That is why this matters. So if you think XRP is going to go way higher, just know you're not the only one. And I don't pretend to know where the price of XRP or any asset's going to go, but I'm like you guys in that I do have conviction that, let enough time pass. It's going to keep trending on a chart up into the right. Like, I do believe that. I just don't make price predictions myself, and I admit, I don't know what's going to go in the short term, but that's the cool thing about my investment strategy. I don't have to. All I have to do is after I buy stuff, do nothing. I just huddle. I just hold my crypto, and then enough time passes, and then more and more people get into crypto. That's way more demand and prices go up. Number go up, my friends. It's the easiest strategy that anyone could possibly implement. It works in the stock market, and that's why, and I knew that. I knew that already. I knew that strategy absolutely works in the stock market. The stock market is just slower. It takes way longer to get life-changing wealth than that. You can take most of your life to have that happen for most people if you're even doing it. And you got a broad exposure, of course, but so that's why when I jumped into crypto in 2017, I was like, well, I know that human DNA makes humans behave this way. I was like, I bet that works in crypto too, so that's what I did. I just got broad exposure with XRP being my largest holding, always believing that utility matters and will win the day. I have a concentration of wealth, so even though I hold 42 different cryptocurrencies, there's a concentration of my crypto wealth in just a handful of those coins, and it's mostly large caps and some mid caps. It really is concentrated in just a small number of those coins that I hold out of the 42 total different cryptocurrencies I hold, because you do not need to hold that many coins to get life-changing wealth. I just happen to have accumulated that many because I've been here so long. I didn't need to, though. I just went further out the risk curve. But yeah, you just do that. That's what I do anyway. And so I believe that just huddling, like it works in the stock market, for 100 years worth of data to prove that works, I just applied that to crypto, and wouldn't you know it. Yes, it works here too, it's just that it's life-changing here in much shorter time periods. I honestly, what would have taken in the stock market 45 years? Probably with the amount of wealth that I've gotten and the return on investment, I've gotten it in a little less than 8 years. And this is before we've had the euphoric blow-off top. So I don't know if that means by the time the top comes this cycle, assuming we get that, which I believe is the case, I believe we will. Maybe it'll be more like 80 years worth of return on investment, what it would have been in the stock market. But here it'll be 8 or 9 years total in crypto for me. And that's the type of stuff that you can get. So this is a real thing. And I'm just a regular dude. I'm not doing anything special. I'm not a finance guru. I'm an absolutely regular dude. But I hope that you find that message appealing, because if you're a regular person just like me, that means if I can do it, you can do it, and you don't need to buy it. I have nothing to sell you. I'm just telling you the truth. You just have exposure, you be patient, and then you win. You can just choose to be rich if you want to be. That's actually a thing you can just do. And then we had this, and I'm going to be brief on this because I just want to mention it because it's a pretty cool thing. It's kind of a milestone thing. But XRP Scan announces countdown to 100 million ledgers. I just think this is pretty damn cool. Talk about long-term viability for XRP and XRP Ledger. Here's the post from XRP Scan on X countdown to 100 million ledgers. It's on XRP Scan, and here's their website live right now, 99,140,547 ledgers closed. And so they're counting down to 100 million ledgers. And here you can see ETA is 7 days, 21 hours, and 29 minutes. That's just amazing to see. Because XRP was created over 13 years ago. It's been live since it was either the end of 2012 or beginning 2013. I always forget for some reason. But a long time XRP has been actually live for a very long time. And it's just a cool milestone. It just proves it's just another thing you look at to be that's some serious longevity, which is why I keep saying XRP is an obvious early winner of the crypto space. And so you've got all this institutional money flowing in. You've got XRP flowing out of exchanges at this particular moment. Do you really think the smart money is wrong about all this stuff? Because I mean, yeah, they could be, but I don't find that probable. What do you guys think? Seriously, tell me. Tell me in the comments. Do you think it's probable or not probable that the whales are right or wrong? Just tell me. I mean, nobody knows for sure. And I always acknowledge that. And that includes me. But yeah, I think it's pretty clear that the whales don't get wrong-footed. I think that you let enough time pass, even if we have a pullback in the short term, I think you're going to see the damn thing rocket. That's what I'm counting on. And the good thing is with my strategy, even if my suspicion is wrong, and even if we actually enter a bear market now, which I do not think is going to happen. But even if we do, which is possible, fine. I do nothing then. All I do is nothing. I just wait until the market rebounds, even if it takes 4 or 5 years, and then I'll sell it away higher price and life goes on. Everything's fine. And in fact, what I do, if the market takes that big of a dip, I'll just buy more crypto. And if XRP goes low enough, I'll even buy more XRP, you know? So the opportunity is there regardless. This thing just keeps trending bear. There's been so many bear markets. It's been a number of bear marks anyway. Since the inception of crypto, none of them has meant the end. Actually, what you see is fundamentals just get stronger for the crypto space, including XRP the more time passes. It's just normal, cyclical things. It does not make sense to not be excited as far as I'm concerned. So this is great news, I mean, to see the degree to which XRP has been flowing off exchanges. We'll see, folks. I don't know exactly what this is going to look like, but I'm legitimately excited. I really believe this is going to happen, and we deserve it, folks. We've been attacked. There's no community that's been more attacked than the XRP community, and not just because of the toxic Bitcoin maximalists. They attack us. We had the government of the United States attack our community because they sued Ripple attacking XRP, claiming it was a security. We made it through that too. XRP price was artificially suppressed. Now the world is healing. The United States is pro-crypto now. Thanks to the change in administration, XRP's got regulatory clarity, and it's making up for lost time. XRP, even today, is at a lower price than it would have been had that attack not occurred. But this represents opportunity from this juncture in time. Very obviously, I'm telling you, man, I'm hoping you guys kind of feel the same. But I will tell you this. Like, jumping into crypto is the best financial decision I've made in my entire life. Hands down, not even close. There is no close second. Getting into crypto and specifically purchasing XRP, it just works. You buy, you have broad exposure, and then you do nothing however long it takes, because you do not control when the market goes, but you do control whether or not you have exposure to the market when it pops, to the upside.